Welcome to the Mu Beta podcast, Talking Kappa, of Kappa, Psi. There will be multiple brothers featured on this podcast, but mostly alumni. Your stories and your life experiences when striving for the highest are the most meaningful and honors the traditions since 1919. Before we introduce any brothers, we have to introduce the brother who will be the host of Talking Kappa, Brother Hengstler. All joking aside, my name is Patrick Hengstler, Brother Hengstler, however you want to go about it, and I will be the host of Talking Kappa. I am a junior at Florida Atlantic University, and I became a brother last semester, spring 2020. And this is going to be my story. My story will be helping your story and understanding who you are and who we are as a brotherhood. Before we introduce our featured brother, I think you have to get to know me before you can start to begin my approach and my way of understanding other brothers. I joined Kappa Psi, for all the service that other brothers gave to me when I needed it most, and when I wasn't deserving it. It's the dedication they gave to making sure that I was okay, and that I would strive for the highest, even without me knowing. And I think that's the most important quality we must all have as brothers. Help others strive for the highest without even them knowing it. This is going to be my story. I'll be the medium to which other brothers tell their stories and their recollections of their time with Kappa Psi. Not as if they've left or anything, but it's a new beginning. A reaching out of sorts within our COVID-19 world, which is... It is something, I have to say. A lot of it has to do with what are some opportunities we can do as brothers to help other brothers, and I think this will be my way of helping not only brothers, people, humanity. This is Talking Kappa, and these are our stories. Let's get started. My name's Patrick Howard Hengstler, and I am currently the Alumni Relations Officer of the Mu Beta chapter of Kappa Psi. I am personally thinking of the future for our chapter and Kappa Psi as a whole. So I decided to just recollect, contemplate, and even give just ideas of what we can do in the middle of coronavirus world that we have. And here's what I want to do. I'm just going to introduce myself, introduce some of my qualities of myself. I think going forward that will be a template for the podcast. First, we got to know my story before we got to know your stories, because that's how I roll, that's how I like to do it, and that's how we're going to do it. So, who am I? Again, my name is Patrick Howard Hengstler. I'm the ARO currently at Kappa Psi. I was born in Coral Springs, Florida, and I have lived in Boca Raton, Florida for over 24 years. Also happens that I am 24 years old. Go figure. Do the math. I have always had a specific goal in mind of what I wanted to do in my life. I've always wanted to become a band director. I don't know whether high school or middle school. That's just whatever happens. You know, I can't be picky on that. I'm still trying to get my degree, so when we get to that road, we'll get to that road. I love playing the trombone. Trombone is my principal instrument. I've been playing trombone for over half my life, 12 years. Started when I was 12 in 6th grade. And that has been my conduit in which I have been giving music and giving life to my soul. I enjoy playing the trombone. I've played the trombone over 12 years now. It's been half my life. Brought me nothing but joy. I love being in band. I mean, obviously I wouldn't be in Kappa Psi if I didn't like band. Go figure. Personally, I have always been an advocate for music in schools, advocate for just music education in general. I have fought for this half of my life. And it's kind of weird to look in perspective like that. And I really want to make a great change to just, not socially, culturally in America. And I feel like band has been on the rise, music education has been on the rise for the last several years, but I feel like I need to play a part. So this is where my idea of the podcast comes in, for not only entrusting that we all share a love for band and what kind of effect band has made on us as brothers, but what we can give back, what we can ultimately want to see. November 27th, 1919. We look back at our history and we understand what steps were taken in our past as a chapter to move forward. And within our chapter, Mu Beta, I believe this will start being our record keeping of our past experiences, new and old, and we can form just a sense of knowledge as we go forward. We can go back to listen to these podcasts and we can remember, maybe so and so was talking about this, so and so was talking about this, past experiences that you have had as brothers, and how you went forward and how you affected the world around you as you went forward and striving for the highest, always. Now we can look at it as me trying to be a record keeper, and yes, wholeheartedly I am. It's about what we're going to give for the future of our chapter and for the future of Kappa Psi. When we understand that we have a place of knowledge and a place of giving and serving for the future, that's when we realize that we have a bigger role to play in our part, and not just, oh, I'm the alumni relations officer, I give out a newsletter every month. No. It's about what can we do to affect the future, the lessons we give. And this is mine. This is my platform that I wish to do that on. This is how I want other members to be looked at, other brothers to be seen. Not to divulge any secrets, but to give their experiences, to give our experiences together so we can learn as people, as brothers, and as human beings. It truly, it makes me really happy, actually, that we can have this kind of platform uninhibited, which is the best part. I feel wonderful that we can have a one-on-one dialogue of just, hey, how would you handle this? Or, hey, what happened in your life when this happened? Anything. Any example. For me, Kappa Psi, and of course the Mu Beta chapter, has been a family. It has means something emotionally, not just in the sense of servitude, but a kind of meaning that I have in my soul. That we are the brothers of Kappa Psi. We are good people. We serve bandsmen. We serve our communities, and we strive for the highest while we do it, and making sure that we as people make other people better while we're doing the things that make us who we are. KKSI has given me that. I would not know what to do with myself without Kappa Psi. Our brotherhood, our sense of family affects that. Affects me, and it will affect other people in a positive manner. You know, when we go back to the foundings of Kappa Psi, there's a bunch of bandsmen who wanted to serve bands and make bands better and facilitate bandsmen for a positive change. And that's not divulging any secrets. I feel like it's very obvious, being a service fraternity, you know. This has basically become my brainchild of how can we tell your story? How can we make a better effect on the later stories of our brothers? And how we want Mu Beta to be seen within Kappa Psi. And that seems very duplicitous in all sense of the word, but I mean it in the sense of what kind of positive change are we doing here at Florida Atlantic University, within the bands, within our chapter, within our communities that make us a positive change. A couple hobbies of mine, close it out, keep it light. Love playing Call of Duty Warzone. It's just the game we've been playing at this recent time frame because of coronavirus. There isn't really much happening, so keeping our mental health and our time filled with greatness and just work, but understanding when you need to have me time for yourself so you can continue doing the good work as a brother. So yeah, I like Call of Duty. I'm an avid player of Warzone. You'll see me in Warzone probably every night, probably like an hour, and then I'll fall asleep. Kind of what usually goes and happens in college. You eat, sleep, wake up, do the whole thing over again. And I would also like to extend a thank you to all the brothers of Kappa Kappa Psi on this everlasting journey of striving for the highest, because that's what I believe we should always be doing as brothers. It comes to a point where we need to effectively see what's next. What is our purpose as a human being to affect the most positive change? What can we do to serve others and facilitate the growth of everyone? And I mean that. That's how I try to live my life day by day. That's how I try to live every year. I literally look back retrospectively to see what kind of great change am I causing. Am I making my life better? And for a long time, it wasn't like that for me. You know, out of high school, I wasn't a very studious student. Go figure. I didn't have a focus. I didn't have aim. I didn't have a drive. I was just, all right, high school part 2. And it took me time to learn. It took me time to understand what my actions truly meant. I realized I had a lot of greatness to myself. I'm a musician. You know, trombone players were the greatest. Sorry to break it to you. That seems like a trumpet player mindset, though. Anyway, I wasn't driven. And then something ignited me after 4 years, 5 years of just aiming around. I decided, hey, I'm at Palm Beach State right now. I've been at Palm Beach State for 4 years, going on 5. And I decided to myself, I need to change something. Something's not right. I decided to finish my AA degree, buckled down on all my classes. I left my job. I wanted to just buckle down. And I didn't realize what I was actually doing was setting myself up for greatness. To be accepted to Florida Atlantic University. I was so happy. I was so happy that when I got that phone call of being accepted to Florida Atlantic University, didn't know what to do with myself for the next 20 minutes. I literally sat out on my porch and I looked at the sun. It was like 5 p.m. I remember it vividly. And seeing what kind of fruit that I bear, I felt wonderful. And I continued that kind of drive later in my life, later for other people, and of course, always for ourselves, but making sure when we're striving for the highest that everyone around us will be striving for the highest always too. And I think that's how my ties going into Kappa Kappa Psi happen. I saw the opportunity. I saw the ways in which and the means we could make an effective change. And a lasting change, not even just effective, to make it last and worth it, and just to continue this education of growth as people. And I believe the podcast as a whole is the way to do that for everyone to be inclined to just say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling, hey, that's what we're going to talk about today. And I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed just a little part of myself, and I'm sure you'll know later in the podcast as we go down the series, will be an effective change. Will be an effective life-changing. This mindset of just, let's keep going. Let's keep forward. Going forward. I'd like to thank everyone listening to the podcast. Thank you for listening to this intro episode of the podcast. 15 minutes of me just talking and rambling to you, I think it's a pretty good entrance and segue into our next episode, which will be revealed shortly. I hope everyone has a great, whatever you're doing right now, listening in the car, driving to work, having a cup of coffee. Hey, power to you, man. You're at night sitting in your bed. You're in your study listening to the podcast. Thank you for listening. Without your support, I am nothing. We are nothing. We are something together. Thank you so much.